Hello, my wonderful AP World History students. Miss Ziegler here, and today we are going to talk about unresolved tensions after World War I. You have an assignment that you're going to be working on independently, but before you do that, I want to go over a couple of how-tos. The first thing is you're going to use two different resources, the AMSCO book 7.5 and a decolonization article that I provided for you. One thing you will notice when you pull up this decolonization article, it's 21 pages long. Don't have a heart attack though yet, because I'm going to teach you, if you don't already know it already, one of the most brilliant skills. I have used it while I'm doing my master's degree. You will use it again, I promise you. You press Control F and a little search box comes up. Let's say you're searching for Pan-Africanism. You will pull it up and boom, it shows you right where to go. So you're going to use that search tool for this assignment. That way you don't have to read 21 pages of information. You're just going to find the information that you need. Trust me, you will use that strategy again, I promise you, especially if you're going to college. I put a little note here for you so that you would remember the formula just in case you haven't used it before. Control F will get you that little search box. You can also use it in the AMSCO book PDF, but the AMSCO book PDF is a lot smaller, so it's a little bit easier to navigate. The first thing I want you to do is go to slide 2 in your assignment, and you will see a question that says, why were there tensions after World War I? We've already addressed this a little bit with self-determination, and we talked about how nationalism was leading different nations to want to be independent. So definitely put that down, self-determination. And if you don't remember what that is, then define it. And nationalism. Self-determination meaning they want to be independent and determine their own identity. Nationalism, being patriotic to your country and being loyal to your country. And somewhat, it kind of goes hand in hand. There was this push for self-determination and nationalism, as well as getting rid of the imperialist powers. The other thing that's going on is that after World War I, the U.S. is doing really well because of all of the war materials and agricultural products that they sold to the British and the other allies. However, Britain and most of the other European countries were devastated. This is going to cause problems because they won't be able to run their colonies the way that they used to. Also, within the colonies, there was this new hope for independence. Some of the imperialized countries also fought in World War I, and they were hoping that that sacrifice would help spur along the respect of Western Europe and start the decolonization process. So because natives and imperialized colonies fought in World War I, they hoped that sacrifice would be rewarded. And start the decolonization process. However, this didn't play out quite like that. There was a conference called the Big Three. And it was the British, the US, and the Italians. They kind of met together to discuss this. They weren't at all interested in freeing the colonies. They did, however, allow white countries in Eastern Europe to self-determine. Make sure that you get that down. Other lands, they wanted to keep those territories. So lands in India, Africa, Asia, they wanted to keep. Oh, and also put the Middle East. So India, Africa, and the Middle East. They wanted to keep those. This rejection fueled more nationalism. this assignment, you'll be looking at how that nationalism played out and what happened throughout the world in regards to decolonization. One other thing I want you to take note of is the words to know. You will be looking at these throughout your assignment, but if there are any on here that you don't know after the assignment, then make sure that you check it out in the AMSCO book. Here's the first area that you're going to look at, Africa. I've already defined Pan-Africanism for you. It's the principle or advocacy of the political union of the indigenous inhabitants of Africa. All the indigenous inhabitants of Africa were kind of joining up to fight against decolonization because there's power in numbers. What you're going to do is look for these answers. All of these specifically are in the decolonization packet. So, which groups led the movement in Africa for independence? What you're going to do is come over here to the packet and you're going to look for Africa. And you can put it in the little find thing, but you can also look at the beginnings of liberation struggle in Africa. This heading kind of gives it away. And we're looking for leaders. So actually, I might type in leaders and see if anything comes up within, oh, there are 43. So that's going to give you quite a few. But here it talks about the leaders in Africa. So this might be a good area to read. And this whole section right here is the one that I was showing you before. So that's a good place to start on answering that question. And then you're also going to answer the question, why were Africans getting fed up with imperialism? Also a good place to start. I would say your answers are going to come mostly from that section. Then we have another section over here entitled Egypt. So I would come back to my search box and look up Egypt. I have it down here in questions, which you're not going to answer. Also, right here is a bunch of Egypt stuff. Oh, look at that. It's a whole heading about revolt in Egypt. So now you know where you need to read for that one. And then you're going to look for repression and war in settler colonies. This is a heading within itself inside of that document. Go down next to the Middle East. Over here, these are going to be in your AMSCO book. These are going to be in the decolonization packet. You have South Asia. It tells you over here directions of where to read. These are in your AMSCO book. I just didn't put that in there. And also, all this information is found in your AMSCO book. So you're going to finish with East Asia. This will give you a brief synopsis of what decolonization was like throughout the world. Don't forget, these are your two resources. Those are the ones that I want you to use. You shouldn't be just Googling these answers. It will be much faster to use the resources that I've given you. And don't forget about my favorite, Control plus Find, so that you can find that information quickly and get this assignment finished. When you are finished, put it in Unit 7 of your notebook. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time.